to play with ChatGPT to create a lesson plan, but perhaps we might take it back a bit. And I want to see if I could challenge ChatGPT to create a unit plan and then allow it to refine that unit plan to something that is worth, that has activities. So again, the key thing with ChatGPT is that you can either try to go for the most complex or just start simply and then use it as a planning partner. So I'm going to stick with the topic that I was looking at before, and I'm going to shift it from a lesson plan. And I'm going to be a little bit just focusing on triangles. So I'm going to say write a unit plan to cover triangles. I'm going to not make it, I'm going to say the unit should cover, I don't want it to be too narrow, cover 4 weeks with 3 90-minute lessons per week. I'm going to write this as 3, I don't want to confuse it. It may get it. 3 90-minute lessons per week. Write a unit plan to cover triangle. This is a grade 8 class using, all right, I'm going to see what it come up with, and then I'm going to add something else. This is grade 8 class. So let's see. Oh dear, I maybe need to regenerate that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab this first, and then I'm going to just redo that, because sometimes it does this. Don't panic. See what I just did? I just regenerated it, and then I made sure that I copied it. All right, so 4 weeks, 12 lessons of 90 minutes each. So it's breaking it down, week 1, day 1. So this is, I mean, we like lesson planning, right? But look at what it's doing here. It's laying out everything, including activities, and this is week 1, day 1, introduction to triangle. So it's breaking it down. Now, if you are learning how to plan units, you'll see how it breaks it down. Notice how the topics are being broken down. There's activity. I certainly can go into those lessons and unpick the lesson, but this is just one prompt. Now, what is powerful about this is not that it's writing your lesson plan, unit plan for you. It's that you would normally have to still figure out how you're going to write this unit plan. And when this is written for you, you still have to go into it and see if it makes sense. But the main thing for you is that you have saved the time of writing it down, and now you can look at how you can modify your lesson in order to include your learners or meet a particular need or achieve a particular goal for that unit. But it's breaking it down. You see, it's going, what are you doing per lesson? It's giving a basic outline, and it's done for you. Now, I mean, I remember when I was teaching mathematics, if I'm stuck, I would go online and see what different people have done. I'd maybe get into a textbook which would break this down for me, and I would go for it like that. But as you can see, it lays it out for me, and I don't know what happened here, but it seems like it's just stopped in the middle. But I mean, even if that's the case, it could be my internet that has dropped. You can see it's breaking it down. I'm just going to click regenerate response to see what happened, which means I've lost everything. It's going to start over again. And I hope it just gets through that. But the idea is that it can do this, right? You can see what's happening. And as a teacher of mathematics, you're able to see if what it is doing is making sense. You're not going to just go, here's a unit plan. But what you're doing now is going, if this is the unit plan, okay, how do I teach this? I still need to get the resource. I still need to deliver the unit in a particular way. But it's breaking it down time by time. And as I said before, you can go back into it and double check whether, and I don't know what's happening. It's been a bit weird here. But because I see these little black dots all over. But let's see. Maybe it's just doing something. The internet might be the problem. It's carrying on. But it's going through every lesson. It's not just like Um, it's reviewing previous lesson, as you can see, introducing certain things into it. It's thinking about, it's just thinking, it's producing, you know, a way of outlining the unit. Now, you don't have to go for this, but you do now have a template to think about the unit. Now, ultimately, this is about providing high quality learning. And so if you can take the time away from doing this, then it means you have more time for marking work, giving feedback, for building the resources so that you can now get yourself back time for yourself, for your family, but still be able to be a very effective practitioner. And I think because I've asked it to do so much, it's gotten a little bit tired. So maybe I should ask it to do less. So I'm going to take off because I really want to see whether that's the reason for this. So what I'll do is I'll just grab this because it stopped again. And that's not a problem. The thing is, this does happen. But I'm going to make it be 3 weeks. And I'm going to say it is 2 90-minute lessons per week. All right. Let's see, because I think it's just a little bit pushing the boundaries here in terms of how long it can stay on a response. That's my thinking. The thing about it, because I'm trying to use it, I literally am not bothered too much about those glitches. I'm just trying to make sure that I am able to learn from it. And what I'm trying to model for you here is that it's not a case of going and then go, oh, it's not working. Try and think about ways to make this happen. So we're getting, again, some lessons, but maybe it will go all the way to the end. And if it stops, then I can pause, but at least you'll see. What I want to do is add a little bit of complexity to it. So even if it pauses this time, I will continue and add some more complexity to it because I really want to see how the unit plan would be developed further. So where it says like review and wrap up, I might ask it to explain, give me a review and wrap up activity, or wherever I think I need to get more detail. If I can't think of it myself, I can ask for that. The key point here is that you don't need to get everything right from the first prompt, because right now it's just doing a generic lesson plan, which you might very well find in a textbook or a teacher manual, but here I've just shown you what it can do. So we're into week 3 and it seems to be doing a lot better because I did ask it for 3 weeks and it's gotten into it. And sometimes, as I said, it just needs a little bit of time. And again, it kind of panics and stops. But at least we got to week 3, or it maybe just ran out of things to do because it has done congruent triangles and more on proven congruence. But as you can see, it has developed the work from introduction to triangles, different types of triangle. It's look at classifying triangle, measuring and proving congruent triangles, introduction to congruent triangles, or measuring angles in a triangle, that kind of thing, to here. So how do I add some complexity to this? So write a unit plan to cover triangles. Integrate, I'm going to try something. I'm going to ask you to integrate the arrow standards into this unit and show where each lesson addresses the standard. Let's see if it knows what I'm talking about. I can help it if it doesn't know what error means, but I always want to test it first. I don't want to assume it doesn't know. So let's see what happens. So it automatically knows what the error standards are, and it's beginning to connect those error standards into the unit plan and showing me that these standards are connected to it. And it automatically went grade 8, G1, AG2, and it's going to build a lesson around that. I'm going to maybe ask it to do the national curriculum in UK, and then I'll maybe take a pause. But this is a long unit, but it's producing it. The last time it stopped halfway. So if it's breaking for you, I think my internet maybe is the issue. But if it's breaking for you, like stopping halfway, I think you can just ask it to continue. Yeah. So it's showing me that the error standards that are being addressed, that's 8 G1 right here. So it tells me that that bit of work would meet that. In week 2 now, we're now moving on to a different area standard. I mean, if I go up, I think 8G1 here, 8G1. I don't see where it addressed 8G2, but we'll see. Because 8G1 is draw, construct, and describe geometrical figures using the relationships between them. And I suppose, again, it's paused. But the point I'm making, it can. If I let's see, I wonder if I could ask a question to continue. Let me see. Continue. So I've just asked it to continue, and it has now gone into week 3. It has reviewed and wrap up 30 minutes, and it's gone into the next one. So I think maybe it thinks it can stop. I don't know what was happening there, but because I've asked it to continue, it just carried on, right? And it just picked up 8G2, and it's doing exactly what it would have done. So maybe I should have selected continue before, and I just tried continue just now. I didn't know that it would have done that. So what I'm modeling to you is that it's almost like you're working with a planning partner here, and this planning partner has access to so much information, and it gives you a generic plan. It's for you now to think, what do I take? What do I do to make sure that this works? So I think we're on to lesson 6, and it's saying to you, no, so we've gotten to the end now because I asked it to continue. So maybe it just got stopped in the middle thinking that's sufficient. I don't know. It says assessment, classwork and homework assignment, quizzes and tests, group project. I'm going to ask it to give an example of a group project and provide a rubric for its assessment. And I'm going to add another thing. Use the GRASP model to design this task. So, you see, I don't believe that a student's learning should be limited to what the teacher actually knows. I believe a student's learning should never be hampered by that. And so if we have tools that can give teachers the right kind of resource so that they can extend students, because the difference with teachers and maybe factory work is that students have to be getting the highest quality of learning every single time. And so you can't say next year the teacher will be us to immediately upgrade our teachers to function. So let's see what happens. Kind of throwing in a few things here. So I've asked it to and provide a rubric for its assessment. I've asked it to use a GRASP model. Okay. So I don't like when tasks are created where the class and the teacher will be the audience for the presentation. So it does know what the GRASP framework looks like, but it doesn't develop it as a real world task. So I'm going to challenge it to make this a better task. I'm going to ask it to modify the task for a real world audience. Let the audience be, let me think of something authentic that would use a triangle. Let the audience be a real estate developer, and the role is an architect. Let me see. I'm not going to help it too much. I really want to see how it functions. So I've just added my thinking. I think I would literally have a task that have them, because what I'm missing is the real world context. So So these students are given a real estate development project and must work together to find solutions that incorporate triangular concepts. So it creates a general thing. So I'm not very happy with the task right now, but we're getting there. We're getting there. As I said, you just have to keep modifying. So at the moment, it says there's a real estate development, and it requires the use of triangle concepts. So I'm going to ask you to describe the situation in more detail. Describe the situation in more detail that necessitates a response from necessitates a response. I won't get to it. Let's see what happened. Okay, so now you see it's understanding what I'm asking for. So what a lovely little project we're getting now. A real estate developer has approached a class seeking solutions for a new real estate development project. The project involves constructing buildings and designing the layout of the property in such a way that incorporates the principles of triangles. Developer is interested in utilizing the knowledge of triangle concepts to ensure that the building and property layout are efficient, aesthetically pleasing, and safe. So the final product will be a presentation of the solutions, which will be given to the real estate developer as a demonstration of their understanding of triangle concept and the ability to apply them to real world. That's beautiful. So I'm a lot more happier with this as an actual situation, because what I've moved from is just a generic presentation to the class to now I'm looking at a real world example where my students are architects and the audience they're presenting to is someone who might invest money. The outcome is that they would all maybe be working on a project and justify why they chose those designs, why is it aesthetically pleasing, why is it safe, why is it efficient, but they're also immersing themselves in real world solutions which they may very well meet as they go on. And then they'll present this, and they could do this as groups, which is this was designed as a group project. And I have the graphs model, and as you can see, when we go to like the product and the performance, everything is there now. We have a clear goal, and now we have a clear situation. Now notice that I've gone back into it and kept asking it to modify it. So I am not necessarily leaving ChatGPT to tell me an answer. What I'm doing is saying, I would like these things to happen, right? And I'm asking it, how would you do it? And then when I get what I want, I said, that's it. I'm not just going, okay, ChatGPT, make me something, and then I go, that's my lesson. I'm still thinking deeply about how could I make this an engaging lesson. But what I'm getting from it is a way of trying to think about what I'm asking for. It is going into all the database of what every teacher has done or what research has said is a good idea, and then it comes out with something beautiful. So that was me playing again with ChatGPT and just showing you that you can really develop some fantastic ideas for your learning. And now you have something that you can go to your class tomorrow and say, this is our goal. And when we finish, and you could literally give them this task at the beginning of your triangle unit. So from the first lesson, that's what I would do. I'd set this up as the beginning of the lesson and say, here's what you're doing. And at the end of the unit, this is what you're going to do. And then what you can do then, while they're learning the triangles, they would be working on this project. Like you could break like a 10-minute or 20-minute in your class where they go and work on the project. And then towards the end, you could give them like, a full lesson to complete the work, or they take it home. I mean, another dimension to this is that you could let them know, keep those. And while they have done you could invite people, actual architects to come in or real estate developers to come in. You could identify a part of the school environment or a part in the community, and then ask them to do that. Again, I could incorporate that and ask ChatGPT to do that. Or you could let them have an exhibition as well, where they invite maybe a local school or other classes to come and see, or parents for that matter, for them to show it. So there's so much you can do. So I'm going to be nice to ChatGPT and say thank you very much, because I think it has saved me a lot of time. And then the final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask it to write me a rhyming poem about triangles. I'm going to ask it to do a sonnet. And said, I'll tell it. How many verses? 4 verses. Can I do anything else? Let's see what it does. What's one poem? So here's how I finish today. Triangles, oh triangles, shapes with 3 sides so fine, with angles adding up to make a perfect 180 line. Isosceles, scaling, equilaterals, the name, each with its own special traits. In geometry, they reign. In architecture, they provide structure and stability. In science, they're used to find lengths and areas with clarity. O triangles, how grand, your beauty and your might, as shapes that simple and complex in geometry, a true delight. Yeah, so I've done a few. I'm going to keep doing some videos on this because I'm really excited. So yeah, if you want to click on the like and the subscribe or share, certainly I'd like you to share these around to people so, we can get some ChatGPT being used in classrooms. And I'm seeking the positives here, seeking the positives, not the negative. Thank you.